Hello once again. Well, what have we got here? This is an old Tri-ang Class 86 locomotive. It was sent to me by a chap called John, and it doesn't run anymore. Let's turn on the power. Absolutely nothing in either direction. Completely dead. I have to admit, I'm a little bit nervous about this one because it's got the pantograph connection as well as pickup from the track, and that coupled with what I call the old Tri-ang DMU motor, which is a horrible motor. If I can get it going again, I absolutely guarantee it will be a noisy so-and-so, but let's get to the bench and see what we can do. And unfortunately, because it's a total non-runner, I can't back it up into the shed, so we'll just have to shove it. So we shall have a look at this. First of all, the pantograph here, it's pretty much had it. The sides there, these bits at the side should be coming out at an angle straight and then come in, but they've been pretty mangled and bent inwards, and the strut part in the middle here is broken at this end. It really should be replaced, but I haven't been able to. I haven't seen one of these online anywhere. I can get them for the later version of this 86, but the Hornby version, but I haven't been able to track down a replacement for that. And the chances of repairing it are pretty slim. I'd have to bend these back out into shape, and the chances are that there's a good chance they'll snap. And the prospect of getting a successful solder on this broken bit, yeah, no. So I spoke to John and he said, no, just leave it alone and we'll concentrate on getting this running. I would rather it was running from the track and leave that just exactly as it is than try and repair that and end up breaking it more. It's just, no, let's just not do that. So how do we get into this? There's a screw in here. So this is the Tri-ang R753. And I think it dates from the 1960s, or I think they stopped making it in 1971. So this thing's 51 years old or more. Screw out. Does this just lift off? Yes, it does. And there we have. Turn this round so you can see. That's what's inside it. So this little switch on the top switches to off and to the pantograph and then to the track. So I want it to be able to work when it's in that position. Oh blimey, wait a minute. I shall get my better specs on and I'll get a close look at what's going on in here, and oh dear, there's loose wires and all sorts. So we've got a loose wire here and another one there. So that's the goes into the brush there, so that's been pulled out, and that I think should probably connect to that. The wire from the pickup is currently draped over the armature, but that's this brown wire here, so that goes up to this. So I'm assuming this is just acting as a two-way switch essentially. I think we'll do a little continuity test here just to see if we've got something from the wheels to that. Yes, we do. These wheels are absolutely filthy. So there is a connection between the wheels and this point here, so that's a good sign. Have we got anything between there and there? No. Oh dear, come on. Yeah, this is all going to need cleaned up. Before I do anything else, we shall disconnect that. I'll put that to one side just now. Okay, I'm a bit puzzled. I've got nothing between there and there, unless that wire's broken. Ah no, we do, it's just dirt on the ends. Right, so do I have something between there and there? No. There? Yep. So the switch at the moment isn't working. I think it's just dirt and corrosion. So we'll clean all that up, and I think that will correct that. But I think really this is a strip down, clean, wire it back up, and hopefully it'll go. The first thing I want to see is what's under this switch. It just unscrews, I think, on the top here. It's all very dirty. Just put this little nut back on that screw, so I know where it belongs, and we'll get this desoldered. So now we can remove this motor bogie and get the motor apart. Screw comes off like that, and that comes off like that. So just looking at this, I don't know if you can see the wheels are in a terrible state, and you know, this is not the best motor design in the world. This thing, I have one of these in my old Tri-ang DMU, and I've worked on a couple. They're nasty, noisy things, but yeah. Right, okay, we'll worry about that later. Let's just get this apart. The screw's not wanting to come out. There we go. That magnet is dead. There's no response from the compass. Very little anyway. Not big enough. So those screws out. And that should maybe remove the pickup plate and the wheels. Which are in the right old state. Take the magnet out, that out, and these will come out, and then we've got these horrible clipped in ends. That allows me to take that apart, and that one has its little ball bearing, and this one, oh yes it has, got my ball bearings. Do a complete strip down on this thing. So commutator and armature, oh geez, commutator's quite worn actually, and there's a lot of crap in the slots. So I think first off we'll clean this. I don't think I've ever seen so much crap in the slots between the poles of a commutator before. So we'll get the old T-cut on it. The coating on the, what they call the anvils, isn't it? The coating on the anvils is pretty bad. That could be a problem. I think it's shellac polish they used to coat them. Seems to be okay. We'll give the gears a bit of a push. Okay, let's have a look at the brushes. Oh, I don't like the look of that one at all. So I don't know how well you can see there, but that brush just doesn't look good at all. And I've got another one here. It's a bit worn, but it's exactly the same as this one. So right, okay, we will put these in some cleaner. Where's my little thing? Just put some contact cleaner in there. And right, let's have a look at this. So that insulating sleeve, well, we'll hope it works okay. Just going to give everything a little bit of a rub with some very fine sandpaper, just to take all the crap off the surface. Yeah, there we go, let's get that out. I want to clean all the crap off this bit as well. So that should now make contact with that. Alright, okay. Well, let's have a look at this little switchy thing. We've got the wire coming in through here, goes through a hole there, and it's basically soldered to, appears to be soldered to a rivet, but not particularly well. I think the soldering's loose. We'll see if we can get sandpaper underneath this little switch so I can polish it without removing it. So I've got the sandpaper underneath the switch, so if I can drag that back and forward, it should rub away the corrosion and make better contact with that. Oh dear. So I'm using a slightly more abrasive sandpaper just to try and clean that a bit more aggressively. And let's hope that now, yes. So I now have continuity between there and the plate, the switch plate. But does that mean I have continuity between there and the wire? Yes, we do. So I think next up we need to do something about these wheels. You can see there, they're in a bit of a mess. T-cut is not going to do the job. It's a rotary tool job. There we go, that's better. Nice and shiny. Right, give this chassis a brush out. Put some cleaner in there. Just going to give the gears a bit of a scoosh and a scrub. So I'll just put some oil on the chassis where the axle's got. Righto. Okay, we'll get the pickup plate back in. That's going to go through there. And we want that to be behind the wheels. So, these bearings, we have a tiny little ball bearing that has to go into this bearing here. We'll put some moly grease into the hole of the bearing, and then we should be able to pop the bearing in, and that'll stay put while we get this back in position. Fitting these motors back together is really fiddly. So get that in there, get that in there, get that in position. Okay, the armature turns and the wheels turn. Before I remagnetise this, I need to fit this because the magnet will rest on top of this copper strip. So this has to go over the brushes, or over the commutator I should say, because it holds the brushes in place. So slide that there, push the magnet down, and that is all pretty much in position. Okay, we have north that way. Right, okay, remagnetise. So the Ronald Dodd Remagnetiser, I'll put a link in the description about this because I always get questions about it whenever I use it. I'll do it this way round this time. I normally do it the other way around, but I'll do it this way round. But you can see there, Ronald's put a little arrow there to say that the north pole of the magnet should go this way. So check that. That's correct. So this will go in like that. Pop the poles in and give this a blast. Once, twice. And that will now be remagnetised. Okay, so we'll fit this piece to make sure that all stays together and put that bolt through it. Can be a fiddle. I think if we fit the brushes, let's see what state they're in. Okay, so in theory, if we put a battery across this now, it should go. Oh, we've life. So that's going to go there, that's going to go there. So that can then come up through there, I think. Okay, so need to fit this little brass spacer underneath this switch. And then get that through that hole. And where's the little nut? There it is. Let's see if I can hold that in place. Right, I think we've got it. Right, okay. So now we have to solder this in position, and we have to solder that to that. Okay. Helping hands required here. Right, I think that'll do, just to see if this works or not. Okay, the chassis isn't actually fixed onto the motor bogie, but let's just see if this works. Whoa. Look at that. I think we're going to win. So we'll screw the motor bogie back onto the chassis. And we'll take a look at the front bogie. Plastic wheels, and they're all pretty gunked up. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I probably should have done this before fitting the motor bogie, shouldn't I? Ah, well. Right, let's get the manky brush in here. These ones are okay, but these front ones are really stiff. So I'm hoping just a little bit of oil will free them up. We've got all sorts of crap in here. I would really love to get these wheels out altogether. I don't like to do that because they have to, the axle has to be punched out. We'll try the trusty old contact cleaner just to try and blast all the crap out. Yeah, I think that's done the trick. See this stuff? It's brilliant. I wouldn't say they're spinning freely, but they're fine. Right, we need to clean them though, because they're manky as heck. So we'll give the body shell a bit of a dust down. I don't think there's an awful lot of point in trying to clean it, really. It kind of suits the way it looks. So let's see if this pantograph wire is any good. Because it looks like it might be a bit broken. Yeah, it's okay. So we'll solder it back on. But to be honest, I'm tempted to just leave it disconnected, because that way the body shell will come off and on easy. But yeah, we'll put it back how it was. Just while my soldering iron is heating up, we'll get some grease onto the worm gears and some oil. I like to mix the gear oil and the white grease together. I really need to make some up. A sort of gear lubrication ready mix. And I think that'll be us. Put this back on. Right, that's not sitting right. What's going on here? Oh, I've done a silly thing. I didn't realise, just goes to show you, didn't realise there's a hole here in the top of the metal chassis is supposed to fit into the a plug in the body there. I thought it was just nice to have the wires going through there and kept nice and tidy. Oh jings, we're going to have to desolder this. So I need to get this off again. And that one. Solder that back on there. And this one is a bit of a bugger. Right, let's try it. There we go. That's it. Tiny wee spot of black tack. Screw that in, don't over tighten. Remove the black tack. And that should be that. Let's try the test track. Okay, I think we're done. Let's go and stick it on the layout. Okay then, let's bring this out. This is going to be noisy, so be warned. Come on. So it goes, so that's mission accomplished, but as predicted, it's a noisy beast. It's just that old motor bogie. There's no avoiding it. There's no way you can make that thing run quiet. So it's just the way it is. It's a bit of a shame about the pantograph. So if anybody out there knows of where you can get hold of a replacement for that, or has a replacement for it, please get in touch. But yeah, no, other than that, very pleased. It was a bit of a fiddle, but actually quite an easy chassis and motor configuration to work on. And it really was a case of just giving it a good clean and sorting the wires out. So we'll get this packaged up, sent back to John. Meantime, we'll give it another run and we'll see you soon. Cheers guys.